A lot to be proud of, and it all happened so fast, like it's hard to appreciate in the moment.
That is Iowa native and Indiana Fever star, and now Time's 2024 Athlete of the Year, Caitlin Clark, looking back at a whirlwind year.
Caitlin Clark has just taken the internet by storm, but not for the reasons you might expect. In a move that left the basketball world in awe, this 22-year-old superstar effortlessly swept up awards, sparking envy among some of her WNBA peers.
I see are the bees that are being dramatic about Caitlin Clark. That's all I see. They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court.
From being named Time's Athlete of the Year to securing a spot on Forbes' 100 Most Powerful Women list, Caitlin Clark's trophy case is overflowing with accolades. While countless fans are celebrating her remarkable achievements, others aren't so supportive and are throwing shade her way. You won't believe who's leading the jealousy parade, and what they're doing will absolutely stun you.
Time magazine recognizes the monster impact Clark had on basketball, saying good luck naming another athlete who altered the trajectory of their entire team sport within 5 months on the job.
Caitlin Clark has taken the basketball world by storm, effortlessly collecting awards as if they were going out of style. She clinched Time's Athlete of the Year, secured a spot on Forbes' 100 Most Influential Women, made it to Forbes' 30 Under 30, and to top it all off, she's been nominated for the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. But why is a 22-year-old rookie receiving so much recognition?
I first want to start with Time Magazine, Ari, and I think this is maybe the least surprising announcement of the year, that the Athlete of the Year for Time Magazine is Caitlin Clark.
Imagine a young woman stepping onto the court, instantly capturing the world's attention. That's Caitlin Clark for you. She's not just breaking records, she's obliterating them, with an astonishing 62 records in the WNBA alone. These numbers aren't merely impressive, they're legendary.
There's only one that can do what Caitlin Clark did. Bring all those eyes. For pure basketball purists, there's nobody like her. Now, culturally, we can make an argument, but like on the court, what she did, and I don't know if you saw, Indiana Fever yesterday posted this clip of Caitlin, and the caption was just her accolades, and it took 5 minutes to read, and I'm like, girl, do you want to chill at all? She doesn't know.
Zero. And listen, I think this is probably the easiest decision to make, right?
But Caitlin Clark's impact extends far beyond the stat sheet. She's transforming the game in ways no one could have anticipated. Remember when skeptics claimed that women's basketball wasn't exciting? Clark has made them eat their words. Her unique playing style captivates audiences, turning every game into must-see TV. In her own words, "I've been able to captivate so many people who have never watched women's sports, let alone women's basketball, and turn them into fans."
We've never, ever seen somebody in this way capture an audience, capture a new audience, and be able to absolutely attribute real numbers and statistics to their popularity, right? Like 19 million people watching, and certainly watching the national championship.
What truly sets Caitlin Clark apart from other rookies isn't just her exceptional skill, it's her extraordinary ability to elevate everyone around her. This standout trait has fans and analysts alike buzzing with excitement about what lies ahead for this basketball sensation. Remember the days when WNBA games struggled to fill the stands? Those days are becoming a distant memory. For years, the WNBA grappled with low attendance and declining viewership, leaving many skeptical about its future. People questioned, can one player really make a difference? Caitlin Clark has decisively answered that question with a resounding yes, transforming the landscape of the league and proving that a single star can ignite a powerful movement.
We talk about ceilings a lot, but she created a new floor. So now we're going to look back. Even if it doesn't hit the numbers that it hit this season, the expectation is much higher. The interest is generally much higher. The investment is much higher.
Let's break down the numbers. Since Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, attendance has skyrocketed, TV ratings are through the roof, and merchandise sales are flying off the shelves. But it's not just about Clark. Her popularity is lifting the entire league. More fans, more media coverage, and more opportunities for players have transformed the WNBA into must-see entertainment. According to analysts, Clark alone is responsible for 26.5% of the league's revenue. That's not just impressive, it's a game changer. Clark has sparked a movement. Teammates like Lexi Hull and Aaliyah Boston have openly praised her, while friends like Sabrina Ionescu and Cameron Brink continue to celebrate her success. Even Kim Mulkey, Angel Reese's former coach, put aside past rivalries to call Clark a generational talent. Her impact extends far beyond her stats. She's changing how women's basketball is viewed worldwide. But with success comes backlash. Some WNBA veterans feel overshadowed by Clark's rapid rise. Aja Wilson's recent comments in Time magazine and Angel Reese's escalating speaking fees are stirring the pot, hinting at jealousy within the league. Even Cheryl Swoops, a WNBA legend, questioned Clark's recent accolades. Yet, amidst the drama, Clark remains focused, letting her game speak volumes. Her influence isn't just elevating her team, it's reshaping women's sports as a whole. From her inclusion in Forbes' 30 Under 30 to her role in boosting league-wide attendance and merchandise sales, Clark is at the forefront of a new era. As the 2025 season approaches, all eyes are on her Indiana Fever, set to face Angel Reese's Chicago Sky in a highly anticipated opener. Clark's vision goes beyond personal success. She's committed to lifting the entire sport, saying, "I know my star power comes with benefits, but I also want to honor the work done before me to bring the league to this point." Her impact is already historic, but for Clark, this is just the beginning. With her ability to inspire fans and unite players, Caitlin Clark is rewriting the playbook for women's basketball. As she continues to break records and grow the league, she's not just changing the game, she's paving the way for future generations. The excitement is building, and the best is yet to come. Is the WNBA racist? Some would say so, but let's discuss some facts and numbers first. By all means, this was the best year the WNBA has ever had. They set an all-time record for total television viewers, reaching 54 million people. They also set an all-time record for the number of broadcasts that hit at least 1 million viewers. The league saw its highest total attendance in more than 2 decades, with a massive 50% increase compared to last year. The All-Star Game broke new ground with a staggering 10 million fan votes, a more than 500% increase from the previous year. The Indiana Fever, the team Caitlin Clark plays for, managed to set an all-time single-season attendance record for a WNBA team. Beyond that, the league saw a 350% year-over-year growth in subscriptions to their paid streaming service. Add to that more social media engagement, more sellout crowds, more news coverage, and more merchandise sales than ever before. It's the kind of season that WNBA executives likely never imagined was possible. Now, given all these remarkable achievements, how much money do you think the WNBA made this year? How much revenue could such a groundbreaking season bring in? What kind of profit do you think they were able to achieve? Earlier in the year, there were reports suggesting that the WNBA's finances weren't looking great, and now that the final numbers are in, those estimates have proven to be pretty accurate. According to the New York Post, the WNBA lost $40 million this year. Yes, during its best season ever, the league still managed to operate at a loss of $40 million. They exceeded nearly every metric for growth and engagement, and yet failed to turn a profit. This isn't just a bad year financially, it's a pattern. The WNBA has never been profitable in its entire history, and at this point, it's difficult to see how that could ever change. It's a concept fundamentally at odds with reality, because the majority of Americans simply aren't interested in watching women's basketball. Even during a record-breaking year like this one, the numbers show that interest still isn't enough to sustain the league financially. This backdrop makes Caitlin Clark's recent interview with Time magazine particularly interesting. Time, which still exists, recently named Clark their Athlete of the Year and featured her on the cover. In the article, Clark made a statement that's simultaneously revealing and controversial. Here's the part that stands out, directly from Time magazine. "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege," says Clark. "A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, and then continue to have brands and companies invest in those players that have made this league incredible, I think it's very important. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing." There are two things happening here. First, Clark is crediting black women with building the WNBA. Without them, she argues, the league wouldn't exist. While this might be intended as a compliment, it's a bit like praising someone for founding a business that consistently loses millions of dollars. However, even this claim isn't entirely accurate. The WNBA was built and is still financially sustained by the NBA. Without the NBA's funding and support, the WNBA wouldn't exist at all. She goes further to say that black women deserve to be elevated and celebrated, which makes it clear why she's saying this. She's protecting her endorsements and her status in the WNBA by endorsing a narrative that aligns with modern progressive ideals. What's interesting is that Clark's words come after and during a season in which she faced relentless abuse on the court. Whether it was being knocked over, poked in the eye, or shoulder-checked, Clark was repeatedly targeted, and in some cases even taunted afterward. Yet, despite this treatment, she's out here claiming that she has privilege. As a white woman in the WNBA, her experience suggests anything but privilege. What she does have is undeniable talent. Clark set records as a rookie, including the most points, the most assists, and becoming the fastest player to reach 300 points. Her performance is the reason she's a standout, not her race. However, her willingness to embrace the narrative of privilege, even after the way she was treated on the court, raises questions about whether she's doing so out of conviction or necessity. The WNBA, for all its growth and engagement, remains a business with fundamental issues. Even in its best year, it couldn't come close to profitability. Clark's commentary highlights the league's reliance on all players, but doesn't address the underlying problem. The WNBA is asking for an audience that largely doesn't exist. The record-breaking engagement figures show progress, but they also show limits. A majority of Americans still aren't tuning in, even when the league reaches its peak. In the end, the WNBA's challenges go far beyond racial dynamics or privilege. The league's financial woes point to a deeper issue: its inability to convert interest into sustainable revenue. Caitlin Clark's remarks may spark conversations, but they don't change the reality that the WNBA is, at its core, a business struggling to justify its existence in the sports market. Could Satou Sabally join Caitlin Clark on the Indiana Fever? This could be the biggest WNBA story of the offseason, and the digital clues Sabally has been leaving suggest it's more than just speculation. Recently, the Indiana Fever said goodbye to Temi Fagbenle, one of their key players early in the season. While this may seem like a typical off-season move, it could be setting the stage for something massive. Satou Sabally, the Dallas Wings all-star forward, has made it clear she's a free agent and has been subtly hinting at her interest in joining the Fever. From strategically liking social media posts to engaging with content about teaming up with Caitlin Clark, Sabali's actions are speaking volumes.
So she's come out and said she's a free agent, and then over time said Satu teaming up with Caitlin, kind of here for that narrative.
On Instagram, Sabali has been particularly active. After announcing her free agency, she began liking posts about the Fever and their potential super team with Caitlin Clark. What's notable is her complete lack of engagement with posts from fans of other teams, including vocal Chicago Sky supporters. This is calculated. Sabali has even liked fan-created graphics showing her in a Fever jersey, something rare in a league where players typically avoid tampering speculation. This isn't just random behavior. The timing and pattern of her activities suggest intent. After the college season began and Caitlin Clark started dominating headlines, Sabali's engagement with Indiana-related content escalated. It's clear she's intrigued by what the Fever are building. Why does this matter? The Fever are at a pivotal moment. They have Aaliyah Boston, who had a historic season, and of course, we all know what Caitlin Clark has been up to. But they still need a veteran superstar to complete the picture. Sabali, at 6 feet 4 inches with guard-like skills, could be the missing piece. Last season, Sabali averaged nearly 19 points and 8.5 rebounds per game. She's a versatile forward who can stretch the floor, defend multiple positions, and dominate in the paint. Pairing her with Boston and Clark would create a lineup that's not just competitive, but potentially dominant for years. And let's not forget Kelsey Mitchell, a proven scorer who would thrive with defenses unable to focus solely on her. But how could the Fever actually get Sabali? The Wings could use the core designation to retain her rights, similar to the franchise tag in other sports. However, history shows that forcing players to stay often backfires. Elena Delle Donne and Diana Taurasi both pushed their way to preferred destinations despite being cored. A sign and trade deal might be the best solution for all parties. A likely trade package could include Nalissa Smith, the 8th pick in the upcoming draft, and a future first-round pick. Smith is a promising young forward with significant upside, and the draft pick would allow Dallas to add more young talent. For the Fever, giving up these assets is worth it to secure a proven superstar like Sabali. This potential move isn't just about the Fever, it's about the league. With super teams already established in New York and Las Vegas, the WNBA needs another team to balance the competitive landscape. Adding Sabali to a young core led by Boston and Clark could make Indiana that team. It would also shift the narrative around Indiana as a free agent destination, turning them into one of the most exciting franchises in the league. The timing is perfect for both Sabali and the Fever. At 25 years old, Sabali is entering her prime. The Fever have cap space to offer a max contract without compromising their roster, thanks to their young core still being on rookie deals. Bringing in Sabali would solidify their transformation from a rebuilding team to a legitimate contender. This move could also have a ripple effect beyond basketball. The Fever would instantly become one of the most marketable teams in the league, drawing attention to a smaller market and contributing to the WNBA's growth. Sabali joining forces with Clark and Boston wouldn't just create a team, it would create a dynasty capable of dominating the league for years to come.
The reality is that as far from a marketing perspective, Caitlin Clark is worth more than almost any pro basketball player in the world. If we're like purely talking about giving them money for endorsement deals.
Today, we're diving into the real story behind Caitlin Clark's wealth. Her WNBA salary? Just the tip of the iceberg. Discover how she's cashing in big with speaking gigs that outpace her on-court earnings. The game-changing impact of her endorsements with State Farm and Wilson, and why her Nike deal could spark some serious drama. Let's break it all down.
which was mental, which was absolutely mental.
Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why Caitlin Clark is poised to become the next powerhouse in sports marketing, and why some top brands might be kicking themselves for not jumping on board sooner.
Higher than the NBA. So I was like, oh, what's she gonna get paid? Because finally, you can get a real paycheck. And then I saw it and I was like, this can't be right. Because this is what it is. In the first year, Caitlin Clark will earn $76,535.
Can you believe that Caitlin Clark, the basketball sensation electrifying the courts, is set to earn a mere $76,535 in her rookie WNBA season? That's less than many entry-level office positions. When compared to NBA salaries, the disparity is glaring, leading many to argue that players like Clark are being undervalued by the league. However, this modest salary doesn't tell the whole story. Let's explore why Clark isn't losing sleep over her WNBA paycheck. While $70,000 might not scream superstar salary, it's actually just the beginning of Caitlin Clark's financial story. Here's the twist. The WNBA isn't just a paycheck, it's her secret weapon. The league offers something far more valuable than money: visibility. Think about it. Every time Clark steps onto the court, millions tune in. Her games dominate national broadcasts. Her highlight reels flood social media, and her name is on everyone's radar. This kind of exposure is a goldmine for marketing opportunities, turning her platform into a multi-million-dollar springboard.
Like, whatever really happens with Caitlin Clark, I would say her big thing is to be ready for the WNBA season. And people are like, why? She's only making $70,000 in the WNBA. What is the point of her worrying about that league rather than trying to push for other leagues and other ways of making more money? Because the WNBA is what's getting the most eyes.
Think about it. When Caitlin Clark sinks a deep three-pointer or threads an impossible pass, you're witnessing more than just incredible basketball. You're watching a brand come to life. Every crossover, every jaw-dropping assist, every buzzer beater isn't just a highlight. It's another opportunity for Clark to show the world her magic. And trust me, the world is paying attention. So, how is Clark turning all this visibility into cash? That's where it gets really exciting. Her modest WNBA salary is just the beginning, opening the floodgates to a slew of opportunities off the court. We're talking about endorsement deals, speaking gigs, and partnerships that could eclipse her league earnings many times over. And then there's the game changer, the Unrivaled League.
And it has also been reported that Unrivaled 3-on-3 League offered Caitlin Clark significant equity in the league and a salary that is over $1 million. So this is the first time that we've heard of any money being thrown at her. We've heard that it would be a major deal. It would be a similar setup as to what Messi got.
You've probably heard the buzz. Some people are saying Clark should ditch the WNBA and join Unrivaled, where she could be raking in millions from the start. But here's the kicker. Clark turned it down. Clark's playing the long game here. Sure, Unrivaled might offer a fatter paycheck right out of the gate, but the WNBA provides something Unrivaled can't touch yet: a proven platform with a loyal fan base and major media deals that guarantee her visibility on a national scale. So, next time someone complains about Caitlin Clark's $70,000 WNBA salary, remember this: it's just the tip of the iceberg. Clark isn't just dominating the court, she's rewriting the playbook on how athletes build their brands. And trust me, this is only the beginning of what she's capable of. Clark's most valuable skill might not even be her basketball prowess, it's her ability to talk. But we're not talking about post-game interviews. No, Clark is raking in six figures for speaking engagements that take less time than a single quarter of basketball.
I think she's either one, if she shows up to somewhere, you're probably paying her $2,000 to $3,000 or $200,000 to $300,000, or it's free. I think she probably does a lot of things for free. Like, that would be my prediction, is that if she wants to be somewhere and she just wants to help out, she'll do quite a few things for free. But if she's not doing it for free, I would say her cost is crazy high.
You heard that right. Caitlin Clark is absolutely dominating on stage 2. Her speaking engagements are becoming the stuff of legend, and the numbers are jaw-dropping. Let's break it down. Clark's virtual speaking fee kicks off at $100,000 for just 30 minutes of her time. In less time than it takes to watch half an episode of a sitcom, she's earning more than most people make in an entire year. And for in-person appearances, companies are shelling out anywhere between $200,000 and $300,000. That's the price of a house in some parts of the country for just one appearance. Clark has already done at least 6 speaking engagements in the past year alone. Do the math, and you're looking at potential earnings in the millions. And it's not just in-person events. These gigs are happening online too, with big-name companies ready to pay top dollar for her words. But why are companies willing to shell out so much just to hear Clark speak? It all comes down to her star power. Every time Clark steps onto the WNBA court, her profile gets bigger. She's not just an athlete, she's a brand, an inspiration, a role model. Companies aren't just paying for her time, they're paying for the attention she commands, the excitement she stirs, and the influence she holds.
Today, she has released, well, she's not released, it has been announced that her shoe is going to be dropped this week, and we can see what it looks like.
Nike's decision has ignited widespread outrage, with fans left questioning the company's priorities.
So Paige Bueckers is arguably the best player in college basketball right now. She's had a really good start to the season, and again, she's a 23-year-old dominating against 18-year-olds. She should be.
While Paige Bueckers makes history as the first college athlete with a Nike sneaker, Caitlin Clark, widely regarded as one of the most electrifying players in women's basketball, remains notably absent from the spotlight.
So Nike's first Paige Bueckers shoe drops this week. So Caitlin Clark has not had a shoe. By the way, she's had nothing. She's had nothing except the Rookie of the Year top.
How did Nike miss the mark with their biggest star? Was this a calculated strategy or an outright blunder? This is the story of how Nike's latest move has divided fans and ignited controversy in women's basketball. By unveiling a signature shoe for Paige Bueckers, while seemingly sidelining Caitlin Clark, Nike has sparked shockwaves across the sports world. What should have been a groundbreaking moment for women's basketball has quickly spiraled into a PR crisis, with fans, analysts, and casual observers alike questioning the brand's priorities. The controversy goes beyond the sneaker. It's about how Nike's decision is being interpreted as a glaring snub of Caitlin Clark, a player widely recognized as the face of women's basketball.
Nike signed Bueckers in September 2023, where she frequently wore the GT Hustle 2 on court. She signed several NIL deals. So, Nike signed Caitlin Clark in 2022. Nada. Nike signed Paige Bueckers in 2023. Signature shoe straight away.
Fans are outraged, flooding social media with calls for action, including boycotts of Nike products. How do you ignore Caitlin Clark, the best player in women's basketball? One fan tweeted. Another added, Nike just doesn't get it. Disrespecting Caitlin Clark is unacceptable, and I'm done buying their products. These frustrations are mirrored in fan forums, where debates over Nike's priorities dominate discussions. Some fans are even posting videos of themselves discarding Nike gear, while others are pledging to switch to competitors like Adidas or Under Armour. The backlash is undeniable, and the noise is only getting louder. The irony of this controversy is rooted in Caitlin Clark's undeniable greatness. She doesn't need brands to validate her. Brands need her. At just 22, Clark has transcended college basketball, becoming a household name in sports overall. Her record-breaking performances, exceptional leadership, and ability to draw massive crowds have cemented her status as a superstar. Her jaw-dropping shots and playmaking skills regularly go viral, captivating basketball fans across the globe and proving that her impact speaks for itself.
It's cool. And look, I think it's simultaneously, it's okay to say it's really cool that Paige Becker's getting her shoe, but Nike fumbled Caitlin Clark so badly.
The controversy highlights a larger issue with Nike's approach to sports marketing. While Buchers is undeniably talented and deserving of recognition, many feel that Clark's cultural and athletic impact has reached unprecedented levels. Her performances consistently draw massive audiences, and her highlights frequently go viral, captivating basketball fans worldwide. For a brand as influential as Nike, sidelining such a star feels like a glaring missed opportunity. Nike's decision not to launch a Caitlin Clark signature shoe has also raised concerns about their ability to connect with their audience. Fans argue that Clark's dominance and charisma make her the perfect candidate to lead a campaign that could transcend sports and become a cultural moment. Instead, Nike's move has been widely interpreted as tone-deaf, sparking backlash that continues to grow. This misstep has opened the door for competitors like Adidas and Under Armour to step in and align themselves with Clark, whose marketability continues to soar. A Caitlin Clark signature shoe could not only boost sales, but also send a powerful message about valuing women's sports. If Nike doesn't act quickly, they risk losing one of the brightest stars in basketball to a rival brand. For now, Caitlin Clark's star power shines brighter than ever. She doesn't need a signature shoe to prove her greatness. Her talent and influence speak for themselves. However, for Nike, this situation serves as a wake-up call. The backlash has shown that fans are paying attention, demanding better representation, and willing to hold brands accountable. If Nike fails to recognize Clark's value, it risks falling behind in the rapidly evolving landscape of women's sports marketing.
Cooper Flagg is really, at this point, a consensus #1 overall pick.
He is widely considered the #1 prospect in either class.
Cooper is one of the highest-ranked recruits in the class of 2025, receiving offers from Duke, UConn, Michigan, all the best.
Our top prospect, Cooper Flagg, announced he's going to reclassify to the class of 2024 for high schools from the 2025 class. Now,
five-star recruit Cooper Flagg has committed to Duke on a Monday morning for us. He's the #1 recruit in the class of 2024.
Cooper Flagg has gone from being the nation's top high school prospect to becoming a genuine phenomenon at the collegiate level. He's already established himself as a near-consensus, future #1 overall NBA draft pick. And at this point, the excitement around him has only intensified since he set foot on Duke's campus. Many felt Cooper was the #1 recruit coming out of high school, and now, as a freshman at Duke, he's turning that promise into reality at the college level. When he reclassified from the class of 2025 to 2024, the buzz was deafening. Now, with him already impacting the game on one of the biggest stages in college basketball, there's a growing chorus of fans and even some respected scouts who believe he might be a more dominant college player than superstars like Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum were at this stage of their careers. It's high praise, but Cooper's game speaks for itself. Let's take a step back and remember how this all came together. As a high schooler, Cooper Flagg was the highest-ranked recruit in the class of 2025, garnering offers from blue blood programs like Duke, UConn, and Michigan, among many others. Yet when he made his decision to reclassify to 2024, he didn't just maintain his top spot, he strengthened his position as the premier talent in his class. Ultimately, Cooper committed to Duke, the program known for churning out NBA-ready stars. The signing was met with near euphoria in Durham. They all knew they'd landed a potential franchise cornerstone in waiting. Now, as a full-fledged member of the Duke Blue Devils, Cooper's presence has fans, scouts, and even some NBA general managers on high alert. eagerly tracking every game he plays as if he's on a short runway to the pros. He's not even halfway through his first collegiate season, yet Cooper is already posting remarkable performances against top-tier Division I competition. He's shown the complete package, scoring at all 3 levels, making high IQ passes, protecting the rim, and switching onto multiple positions defensively. His stat line at Duke, a balanced mixture of points, rebounds, assists, and blocks, reads like a seasoned veteran's, not a freshman's. Fans on message boards and social media are going as far as to say that his dominance at this stage might eclipse what Kevin Durant showcased at Texas or what Jason Tatum displayed in his lone year at Duke. Is it hyperbole? Maybe. But the fact that the conversation even exists speaks volumes about Cooper's game and the sheer level of skill he's brought to the ACC. To understand how Cooper got here, we need to trace the roots of his meteoric rise. He was born in Newport, Maine, and from day one, basketball flowed through his veins. His parents played college ball, so the environment was ripe for him to develop a deep understanding of the game. He and his twin brother Ace hit the hardwood early, honing skills that would eventually put Cooper on the national radar. In high school, long before he was dropping double-doubles and making highlight reel plays at Duke, Cooper was racking up historic accolades. As a freshman at Nokomis Regional High School in Maine, he averaged 20.5 points, 10 rebounds, over 6 assists, nearly 4 steals, and almost 4 blocks per game. Those numbers were unheard of for a freshman, and he made history by becoming the first freshman ever named Maine Gatorade Player of the Year. But let's be honest, Maine's basketball scene isn't exactly a national hotbed. To truly test his limits and improve his craft, Cooper needed a bigger stage. After his freshman season, he left Maine for Montverde Academy in Florida, a powerhouse known for producing elite college and NBA talent. At Montverde, Cooper held his own against future pros, posting solid numbers as a sophomore and showcasing flashes of brilliance that left scouts salivating. He took MVP honors at the 2023 Hoopa Classic, reinforcing the notion that he wasn't just a product of a small basketball market. He was the real deal. His performance at Montverde, followed by a sensational stint back on the EYBL circuit, elevated Cooper to a whole new level of national recognition. As a 16-year-old, he dominated the 16U competition, averaging nearly 27 points, 12 rebounds, and close to 5 assists and 5 blocks per game. Those are video game numbers, and at the prestigious Nike Peach Jam, he posted 3 straight triple-doubles, averaging 34.7 points, 16 rebounds, and 10.7 blocks over that span. To put it bluntly, he wasn't just good, he was looking like a once-in-a-generation prospect. All of this laid the groundwork for an epic senior year at Montverde after he reclassified. Despite moving up a class and facing older competition, Cooper retained his status as the top recruit in 2024. He thrived on a team stacked with elite talent, guiding Montverde to an undefeated record and cementing himself as a no-brainer pick for the McDonald's All-American Game. By the time he finished high school, he was a household name among basketball enthusiasts, who saw him as more than just a top recruit. He was the kind of player who could transform a program overnight. Now at Duke, Cooper is thriving under the intense spotlight of Cameron Indoor Stadium. Surrounded by fellow 5-star recruits and a storied program's expectations, he's showing that he can still be the alpha dog on a loaded roster. Early in his college career, he's logging consistent scoring outputs, controlling the glass, dishing out assists in transition, and turning away shots with jaw-dropping blocks that bring the Duke faithful to their feet. NBA scouts sitting courtside can't help but draw comparisons to great forwards who once passed through these halls: Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Paolo Banchero, and yes, even Jason Tatum. Yet some bold voices in the crowd are whispering that Cooper might be the best of them all, better even than the current NBA stars who once donned the Duke jersey. Part of what makes Cooper so special is that his game goes beyond scoring. He's a playmaker, a facilitator, and a defensive anchor. He's got the size, the instincts, and the footwork that make him a nightmare on both ends of the floor. Remember how in high school he flirted with quadruple doubles? Those instincts haven't gone away. They've only sharpened. His timing on defense, his spatial awareness, and his willingness to do the dirty work. These attributes make him stand out in the college game, where top prospects often rely on sheer athleticism rather than nuance and skill. Now, with Cooper proving his worth against some of the toughest competition in the nation, the NBA chatter is louder than ever. He's eligible for the 2025 NBA Draft, and some analysts believe he's a lock to go #1 overall. They see a player who could anchor a franchise from day one. The tools are there, a smooth jumper that's improving steadily, polished ball handling, a knack for reading defenses, and an unparalleled motor. He's shown he can finish through contact, maneuver in the post, step out for a three, and orchestrate an offense as a pseudo-point forward. The conversations about him possibly surpassing Durant or Tatum as a college player might be fueled by fandom, but the comparisons exist for a reason. Cooper is checking boxes that few have checked at his age. Duke's track record for producing NBA forwards is impeccable. Zion, Tatum, Ingram, and Banchero all went on to immediate success in the league. Cooper's name is already being mentioned among that elite fraternity, and some argue he might have the most well-rounded skill set of all of them at this stage. His transition to the college game has been seamless, and his defensive versatility has scouts salivating. Modern basketball values players who can guard multiple positions, protect the rim, and still space the floor. Cooper seems like he was built in a lab for the modern NBA, capable of switching onto smaller guards, defending the paint, and sparking fast breaks with a pinpoint outlet pass. The reclassification decision that once seemed bold now looks like a stroke of genius. By accelerating his timeline, Cooper positioned himself to be on the fast track to the NBA. He's showing that the hype wasn't just smoke and mirrors, it's grounded in hard evidence, month after month, game after game. Sure, we've all been burned before by high school phenoms who never lived up to the promise. But Cooper feels different. He's refined, composed, and his production keeps matching the intensity of the hype. Another layer to the story is the ongoing debate for the top recruit in his original class. Players like Ace Bailey have been putting up outrageous numbers, but critics point out that Cooper's combination of offense and defense at an elite program like Duke sets him apart. His polish and poise are rare, especially given the level of competition he's facing. It's one thing to drop 40 points in a lesser-known setting. It's another to excel under the unforgiving lights of Cameron Indoor against future NBA players, with the entire basketball world watching. Yes, the skepticism remains. There's always a risk when we project greatness so early. We've learned from prospects who've fizzled out. The difference here is Cooper's pedigree, his attitude, and the way he's handling pressure. He's the kind of player who invites comparisons to all-time greats and then steadily justifies them with his day-to-day performances. As he navigates conference play and gears up for the NCAA tournament, he's only adding to his legacy. So, is it too soon to call him the next great Duke forward? Or perhaps the next in line for that #1 pick who can truly anchor an NBA team? Some might say it's too early. Others believe we're merely stating the inevitable. The fact that fans dare to compare him favorably to Kevin Durant or Jason Tatum at the college level, even if it's a stretch, proves just how special Cooper is. He's already shifting the conversation about what a freshman phenom looks like in today's game. In the end, time will tell. But if what we've seen so far at Duke is any indication, the Cooper Flagg hype train is just picking up steam. We might be witnessing something truly rare, a player poised to redefine expectations at every level he touches. As he continues to write his story, one thing is certain: Cooper Flagg is well on his way to becoming a name you'll be hearing in the NBA for years to come. The only question left is how high his ceiling really is. And at this rate, it looks like the sky's the limit.